I would like to say that as a kid, I enjoyed watching Tom and Jerry. However, the channel it was available on only showed it at the daytime when I was at school. I kept asking my mother for VA DVDs of the show, but she refused my request given its violent nature. Over the time, my house had gotten pretty messy. We had too many items of clothing and boxes and stuff that we mostly didn't need. My mom decided to finally clean out the house, having me to help her. We got through the majority of the rooms, and garbage bags were full of stuff to donate. We had one room left, the media room. While she cleaned off the desk, I attempted to clear out the closet, removing most of the clothing when I found out it was revealed to be a stack of wooden boxes in the back of the closet. Curious, I opened up the box, revealing a collection of VHS tapes. A lot of them were great movies in the collection. From classic Disney movies to the Godfather trilogy to Gone with the Wind, I kept searching through the collection until I came across something I would have never expected: a copy of Tom and Jerry's 50th birthday classics on VHS. Surprisingly, the copy was unopened. It's still in its original case in plastic wrap. I asked my mom, "Hey, where did this come from? I don't remember you buying this." My mom then get a shocked expression on her face, shaking her head. She proceeded to tell me and explain that it was a present from my aunt that was supposed to be given to me for my 7th birthday. I asked why I didn't receive this gift. My mom explained that shortly before my birthday, my aunt was involved in a robbery. She elaborated having two crackheads enter her home and started taking most of her belongings. My aunt woke up and noticed two men wearing sheets over their heads. The man ran to her and beat her senseless. Her face was bloodied and bruised, and she had really a hideous black eye. There was even a claim that a lock of her hair had been ripped out, and the men forced her to lay down on her stomach while they proceeded to behead her with a tentacle axe. My aunt was discovered by my mother the next day, and she called the police. While she waited, she looked around the house for clues, and on the kitchen table was wrapped a present. The tag indicated that the present was for me. Sure enough, it was the present of the Tom and Jerry VHS. My mom kept it hidden from me until I found it for myself. I was horrified by the story, but I was just so happy that I was able to watch the cartoon I've been so interested in for so long. We continued cleaning and finally finished. Around 5:30 or so, my mother left to go on a date with the man who is currently my stepdad. I knew she was staying overnight, and being the only child, I had some time to myself. I played on the Xbox for a while, but then I quickly became bored. I then remembered the brand new VHS of Tom and Jerry. I opened the packaging and took the tape out of the case. The tape was in mint condition with the original label and rewound to the beginning. I popped the tape in with the FBI logo coming up at warning as normal. I then watched the first episode on tape, and nostalgic was rushed with intense. I hadn't watched the show very much as a kid, and the network quit showing it a while ago. The video was rolling very smoothly, and then in the middle of the second episode, the screen went black. A new title card appeared, and it had a gray background with the shadow of a guillotine, with red writing, "The Death of the French." I found this hilarious given my family's French descent, so I kept watching. It was a normal episode where Tom and Jerry and Nibbles were musketeers. In the episode, the king has tasked Tom with keeping the noise down so he can sleep. The king said if Tom woke him up, he would have Tom sentenced to death. Tom gave a saluting gesture, and the king went to sleep. The episode continued as usual, but something didn't seem quite right. I rewound the tape to look a little closer, and what I found was really disturbing. The violence was more detailed and gory than I would have remembered it. For example, there was a part of where Tom has used a knife to stop Jerry from running away by holding a knife near Jerry's tail. Instead of holding Jerry down, the knife completely chopped off Jerry's tail, and blood started to drip out of it. It wasn't exactly gushing, but a trail of it was created as Jerry ran away. In the next shoot, his tail was back to normal. Events like this kept happening, with things like Tom's tail getting chopped off, Tom's eye being gouged out by a cork, and even Tom being split in half, showing photorealistic insides. At the end of the episode, the king is awoken and Tom is taken for execution. In the next shot, show Jerry and Nibbles walking down an old-fashioned French street eating sausages and cheese when they heard the sound of the crowd chanting. The camera goes to Jerry's point of view as he looks at the guillotine. I was told by a friend that normally you only saw the blade coming down and heard the sound of it bang against the wood, and then it cut back to the mice. However, this time the blade did not fall. Instead, the shot went to Tom being brought down by the guillotine by two guards and the king. The crowd kept yelling, and I even heard such phrases such as, "Kill him," and "We want blood." I could see that Tom was physically becoming enraged and started resisting the guards, kicking one of them in the knee. The crowd went insane, yelling even louder, and the king yelled, "End it! Do it now!" The two men appeared to be dressed in old-fashioned executioners, masks and all. They ran up to Tom and proceeded to beat him to the ground, and looking closer, you could see Tom's face bloodied and bruised, and even looked like a lock of hair was pulled out. After a good beating, Tom was forced to lie down inside of the guillotine and was immediately beheaded. His body was still visible while his head disappeared into a basket. Blood was realistically spewing out from the neck. It started strong and then proceeded to drip down from the neck. In the next shot was a close-up of Tom's body and bloodied face in the basket. Tom's eyes were even blinking for a few seconds as the camera zoomed out, but the blinking stopped. The shot quickly cut to the mice, and just like in the episode, Nibble says, "Poor, poor pussycat," and then him and Jerry continue eating and walking. The shot then went back up to the guillotine, which was now all blood from all over the bottom. From the basket, a spirit of Tom was rising up. The figure was a bleach white, and Tom's eyes were blank and not blinking from what I saw. The spirit rose outside from the frame, and then the episode cut to static. The static lasted for a few seconds, and then the new portion was playing from another part of the episode to which Tom goes to heaven. Tom was still bleach white, and his eyes were still blank. It cut to the portion where Tom tries to sneak out past a ticket collector. The ticket collector catches Tom and calls him out for the horrible deeds he has done to Jerry. The ticket collector says that if Tom doesn't receive forgiveness from Jerry, he will go to hell. When the ticket collector says that Tom would go to hell, the ticket collector's voice then turned very deep and demonic. The voice just gives me chills just by listening to it. The tape then went to black, and all I could hear was a sound what might have been Tom asking Jerry for forgiveness, but unfortunately it was sped up. I could hear the sound of the bell ringing very loudly, and then a demonic ticket collector said, "I'm sorry, Tom." An image finally showed up of Tom falling into a pit. While he was bleach white, but this time his eyes with no pupils. Finally, Tom lands in a cauldron and does a very fellatio, spine-chilling scream. The devil, aka Spike the Bulldog with horns, starts laughing, but his original laugh was deepened and slowed down. The devil also used to prolong the end of his pitchfork to shove Tom deep into the cauldron. Instead of pushing Tom in, however, the pitchfork stabbed Tom, and all over the holes created by the pitchfork were visible. Tom also appeared to have his skin progressively burnt and peeled off, revealing a realistic muscle and tissue underneath. I'll rewind the tape just to the beginning and notice that the episode started at 11:34. At this point, I've had stopped the video. I immediately ejected the tape out and placed it into the case. I placed the case on top of the desk in the media room. I had trouble sleeping that night, so I stayed up for the rest of the night playing League of Legends. Hopefully it would get it off my mind of that horrifying childhood ruining tape. About 3 a.m., I attempted to sleep again and succeeded. The next day I decided to find the tape so I could finish the footage, just out of curiosity. I looked on the desk and around the media room, but I couldn't find it. I found out that my mom had donated the tape, along with the others, to the Goodwill. I drove over to Goodwill, but it was already sold. It was sad that I lost such a rare tape. Fortunately, I was able to distract myself with video games and working on projects for school. I was safe from the nightmares, however my sleep cycle was severely disturbed for about 2 months. I was very tired and my grades had dropped from A's to B's and C's. Normally, I wouldn't find something like this disturbing, but it was very disturbing and creepy. And how similar Tom's death was compared to my aunt's death, the fact that the episode was set in France, my family's country of origin, I didn't help to suppress the memories. I still picture Tom's death in my head and get chills from it. My mom doesn't believe me, but I'm still hunting for the tape. When I get it back, my mom will have to see the horror for herself.